Hello and welcome to another movie reviews where I take a look at films I've never seen before, others likely will have done. And today we're going to have a look at the controversial 1932 Todd Browning film, Freaks. I am slightly familiar with Todd Browning's work. I know that he did the Dracula film with Bela Lugosi. Apparently he's not anywhere near as good as people remember. You need to watch that at some point. I don't really know a great deal about this film, going in sort of blind, so let's go. So Freaks is essentially about a group of sideshow entertainers at a travelling circus and them going about their lives. The central plot detail is of a French acrobat with a strong man as her accomplice trying to seduce a dwarf who received a large inheritance recently, and then kill him and split the money between the two of them. The strongman and the acrobat, obviously they're not going to split money with a dead person. This is a very interesting case because I initially was going to use this film for my horror season segment, as it's frequently cited as a horror film. However, it's a very misleading tag to give it. I remember I first heard about this film when it was included on Channel 4's list of 100 scariest moments, and one of the moments was the ending of Freaks. Now, depending on the context, I suppose it could be considered scary. Certainly from a couple of the characters, you could consider it to be scary from their point of view, but you're not watching it from their point of view. In the context of the film, it's not scary, but satisfying. After that acrobat tries to poison Hans, the dwarf she's seduced, he finds out about this, and everyone basically turns on her and the strongman. And the moment where the acrobat discovers that Hans' friends aren't leaving him alone, so the two of them can be together, one of them pulls out a switchblade. It's one of the most brilliant comeuppance scenes I've ever seen. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of published author, Harrison Abbott. I know why the film was considered scary. For the same reason MGM heavily cut the film by at least 30 minutes of its 90-minute runtime, leaving the final cut at just 64 minutes. The stage performers made people uncomfortable and were considered grotesque. And now the original cut of the film is lost. What we do have now is a terrific film that just feels like a lot of plot details are missing. It does jump around a bit, and while it's not really a huge problem in terms of comprehension of the story, it just finishes and you ask yourself, hang on, is that it? The whole big finale lasts like 3 minutes, and then that's it. It's just the end. The ending is still really powerful regardless of its runtime, but you do feel like it loses its potency a little, that it's just relegated to a couple of minutes at the end and that's it. And it's a great shame. What genuinely surprised me about this film is that the titular freaks are given all the respect and acknowledgement they deserve. This is not an exploitative film, but a deeply humanist one. In other hands, this could have been deeply problematic, but the fact that a film from 1932 that is largely about disabled characters is considered to be very sensitive to its subject just speaks volumes. The fact of the matter is, in 1932, no one wanted to see anyone different to them that, wasn't depicted as a villain or a monster, which is just profoundly sad. You gotta remember, this was only 17 years after Birth of a Nation was made. Come on. On the set, everyone was uncomfortable being around the actors apart from the normal-looking performers like the Siamese twins or the Earl's family, the group of dwarves. Those people aside, everyone else was not allowed to be on the studio lot, just relegated instead to this custom-built tent. It was very poorly received critically and a flop at the box office, but in the decade since, it has been reassessed as a terribly important piece of cinema, and also praised for its anti-eugenics message. I just love the camaraderie between everyone in the film, both disabled and able-bodied.
Oh, let's see, what a pretty dress. Oh, how beautiful you look tonight.
They just get on so well, and it feels like you're there, you know, in the circus. And this film also features one of Carl Pilkington's favourite ever disabled people. Freaks is one of his favourite films, with the Pillow Man, who is missing all his limbs. He in particular is very interesting, especially since he can light a cigarette without the use of his arms. I just love how the characters are portrayed as normal people with everyday lives. And I felt really bad for Frida, one of the dwarves, who really wants to be with Hans, but he's busy swanning off with the acrobat. You know, you deserve better.
She's the most beautiful big woman I have ever seen. Why, Hans, how you talk. I should be jealous pretty soon.
The finale's not scary. It's a real punch the air moment where you're rooting for these two characters to get what's coming to them. And then at the end, you see the aftermath of this, and it's not really what I was expecting at all to be in the final film, given the stuff that was removed. It's really horrifying. It's still alarming for a film that's 90 years old. This is a film about community and family. It's incredibly sympathetic and a loving portrayal of people who've been shunned by society, which I'm sure can be relatable to a lot of communities, certainly as someone who's disabled myself. I want to say this now, even though obviously he's now passed. I really want to thank Todd Browning for making such a sympathetic portrayal of life as a disabled person and treating them like a human being rather than, as the title of the film suggests, a freak. That a film from 1932 has a more sensitive and accurate portrayal of disabled people than stuff that's even released currently. It's really indicative of just how progressive this film was and still is. So those were my thoughts on Freaks. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Letterboxd over there. I'll see you all very soon. Ta-ra. In other hands, this could have been deeply In any other hands, this could have been deeply In any other hands, this could have been deeply Why can't I say deeply problematic?